All right. Greetings, fellow grade 11s. Look, it's Mr. Tlajoya again, and welcome to Back to Basics. Now, what we are going to be basically looking at today, we are going to be looking at our Venn diagram, right? So we are going to be, I'm going to be just giving you a little bit of an overview of what a Venn diagram is. Let's start here. Now, firstly, one thing that you need to take notes from your Venn diagram is that firstly, your Venn diagram is represented what? It is going to be represented, or rather, we represent our Venn diagram in what? In shapes. So, which means we represent the events, in what? In circles, and we represent the sample space. Represent the sample space, what? In rectangle, right? So we are going to represent the sample space in rectangle. So what does that mean basically? So which means whenever you want to draw a Venn diagram, you'll start here. So you're going to draw a four-sided figure, right? A four-sided figure. And let's say if you are given the probability, let's say of A, right? So this is going to be the four-sided figure, and within this particular box, then therefore you're going to draw a cycle which will then represent your what? Your event A. Okay, then this is going to be how firstly you draw your Venn diagram. And now there are different understandings of Venn diagrams that I want us to know, or I want us to look at before we can even learn how to draw Venn diagrams themselves from questions. Right now, the first thing that I want you to know is that now, firstly, within your Venn diagram, if let's say you are given an event A, you are given event A and B, all right? Event A and B. Now, what is it that you need to take note of from this particular event? Is that now, firstly, for probability of A and what? For probability of A or B within your Venn diagram, it is this part. So basically, if this is your Venn diagram representing and having an intersection, the probability of A and B, it is going to be this particular shaded part, which means if this is your event A and this is your event B, so you're going to take all the values that are in this first event and all these values that are in event B, including the intersection, right? Then this is going to be the representation of probability of A or B. However, if let's say you want the probability of A and B, the probability of A and B, where are you going to get the probability of A and B? Within your event, right? Within your event, your probability of A and B, it is this part. It is this part, the inclusion part, the shaded part, right? The one that represent mutually inclusive, right? So the probability, or rather the probability of A and B, it is going to be the shaded inner part, right? So always, if you are looking for the probability of A and B in your Venn diagram, it is going to be that basically that inner part. And now, if let's say you are looking now to find out what will then now let's say you are given, we want you to find out what is the probability of A or B not, right? So let's say we want to find the events of everything except A or B. Remember we said now for A or B, this is going to be your cycle, and which means for a probability of A or B, it's going to be, no, basically everything apart from your event A and B, right? So which means it's going to be this outside shading, right? This outside shading where this is your A, this is your B. Basically, this outside shading is the one that will represent your probability of what? Of A or B not. Okay. So this is going to be how it is represented within your what? Within your Venn diagram. And now, if let's say you are looking for the probability of A and B not, A and B not, basically it's going to be what? Which means it's going to be if this is your two intersections, and now here it is going to be basically everything, right? A and B not, it's going to be, you are going to take all these values except for the value that is going to be in between, right? So which means you're going to take all these values that are outside and you are going to leave the value that is going to be in between here within your two intersections, right? So this is going to be the representation of your probability of A and B naught. And now if let's say I want the probability of if I have these two events, this is my first event and this is my second event, and I want to find out what is going to be the probability of what? The probability of A, the probability of A, right? The probability of A, basically, if this is A and this is B, the probability of A is going to be everything here, right? Irregardless of the middle section, right? But as long as it's going to be within A, so it's going to be that everything for A. So this is going to the representation of a probability of A. But look, if let's say now I have this is my Venn diagram and I have my values, and now I want the probability of what? The probability of B. No, of B only. Let's say B only. The probability of B only, if this is A and this is B, it's going to be what? It is only going to be this part. It is just only going to be this part, because you are not going to include the intersection part, right? Every time when they say B only, you just write everything except the part where your probability of A and B intersect, right? So that is going to be where now you represent your what? That's where you are going to represent your probability of A, or rather the probability of B only, right? So I just wanted you to understand those basic fundamentals before we can go and now understand all these particular questions. Now, let's look at this first question in terms of what it entails. Now, firstly, now they say now in 2019, census school learners were asked to indicate whether they have access to telephone or cell phones at home. Now they say 290 grade 11s in one high school represented or responded as follows. Now they are saying, firstly, you're having 150 that have access to a cell phone. You're having 80 that have access to telephone, and you have 20 that have access to both. Now they want you to draw a Venn diagram, right? Now let me just take you through in terms of how to draw your Venn diagram. Let's start here. Whenever you want to draw your Venn diagram, this is what you're going to do. Isn't it that you are going to check whether do you have a part where you are having both of them, A and B? And luckily for this one, yes, we do have a part that basically now cater for both, right? And B. So we are going to come back here and say, now look, if I can have this particular shape of mine, this is how we draw our Venn diagram, right? So we are going to draw a rectangular like shape, right? Or you are going to draw your rectangle. This is going to be a rectangle. And now you are going to draw again your cycle, isn't it? So your circle, right? This is going to be your circle, and you're going to also draw another circle representing the other event, right? So which means this is basically your event A. This is going to be the event B, right? Are we together? Now let's look at this. So the event A, basically this event A represent what? Represent the cell phone. And the other one represent the what? The telephone, right? The telephone. Now, the first thing that you're going to start here with, you're going to start from your middle, from your intersection. Your intersection is going to be what? It is going to be given by 20, right? It is going to be given by 20. Basically, learners or who have access to cell phone and telephone both at home, they are 20. And now if you are moving to event number A, now look at this. Now they said for event number A, or rather for cell phone, you're having 150 learners, right? You're having 150 learners. So what is it that you're going to do here? You are going to say, now for you to represent your event A, this is going to be what? Now, which means in this particular event, let me just rewrite this with this color so that you can see. what I mean, right? So basically in this particular cycle, what will happen is you must have a totality of 150. So which means you are going to say, look, now for this part here, it is going to be what? It's going to be 150 subtract the 20. And what is 150 subtract 20? This is going to be 130, which means here, your event here, it's going to be 130. Right? Because look, when you have the 130 plus the 20, you are still getting 150 for your event A, right? So therefore, which means this is absolutely correct. Now, if you go to your event B, now you are having how many? You are saying they are having 80 that have access to telephone at home. So they are how much? They are 80. So let's start here. You're going to say now, look, and now if they are 80, how many have access to both? They are 20. So again, you're going to say, look, 80 now subtracts the 20, and 80 subtract 20, you are going to get 60, which means the ones that are here, they are going to be 60, because when you take the 20 here, and also the 60 here, you are still getting the what? You are still getting the 80 for those who are for those who are having the access of telephone at home, right? So basically, this is how we draw our basic simple Venn diagram. Now, I want us to try now a Venn diagram that have 3 events. Let's see in terms of what is it that we can do. Now look, let's look at this particular question. Hopefully you can see here. Now they are saying now a survey is conducted with with 50 learners to find out what is more popular at school. Tuck shop. Now they're saying now they are asked if they usually buy a toast sandwich, a wrap, or a burger, right? Now they say they can choose none, 1, 2, 3 of the meals. Now let's see. So they are saying now you have 21 that chose sandwich, you have 20 that chose a wrap, that you have 13 that chose a burger, and now this is important. You have 3 that chose the 3 options, and you have 8 that chose wrap and a burger. You have 4 that chose burger only, right? This is these ones chose, right? Burger only, right? This is going to be burger only, and you have what? Now you have 5 that chose a toast and a wrap. Now let's see. Let's see firstly, what is it that we can do? Now, because these events are 3, we are going to start here, and we are going to try and represent all of this. Now, we are going to say now, the first question, want us to draw a Venn diagram for this. So we are going to come back here and say now, if we want to draw our Venn diagram, now this one, we need to represent all the 3 particular events. So let me try and make it, as much as big as possible so that we can try and squeeze at least all those 3 events, right? And now that's going to be that. And now this is going to be the first event, right? This is the other event. Oh, not my circles looking. Then this is the other event, right? This one. Let's fix this one. It doesn't look nice. So this is the other event. And basically why we are having 3 events here, because we are given 3 things. Now let's start here. Now we are having how many meals for them to choose from? We are having a sandwich. You are having a burger, right? You are having a wrap star, right? Or a wrap. Now, look, what is it that we are going to do firstly here? We are going to start here. We are going to say now, we are going to start from the intersection, right? We are going to start from the intersection. Basically, the intersection is where all of them chose that particular meal, right? Or rather chose all the 3 types of meal. So they are saying we have 3 which have chosen all the 3 options. So which means here, the first thing that you are going to have here, you are going to have the 3, because the 3 represent the 3 of them, right? And now after that, you are going to now move to those who chose at least 2, right? Who chose at least 2. Now let's start here. If you can start from this one now. Look, this one, they said they chose a toast and a wraps, right? Now they say 5 of them chose a toaster and a raptor, right? Now look, what is it that this was a what? This is a sandwich, it's a rapster, and it's a burger, right? Isn't it so? Now let's see. Now so for this one now, what is it that we are then going to do? We are going to say now those who have chosen basically a toaster. What is it that we are going to do? They are 5, right? And now from these 5, this toaster is the toasted sandwich, right? We are going to say 5 now. From these 5, 3 of them already have chosen the 3 types, right? They've taken from both. So which means for you to get the 5, this is going to be 5 subtract 3 now, right? Which is going to be close to 2. So which means those who are having the what? Those who are having the sandwich and also the rapster are going to what? They are going to be 2. So you're going to represent it by 2. And now we are moving along now. We are saying now from here, we have 4 who have chosen beggars only, right? Beggars only, which means now we are going to go to the category of beggar. This is beggar, and which means you are subtracting nothing every time when they said beggar only or anything only. You don't subtract from the intersection or the middle, which means here for the beggar you just only having strictly or straightforward 4. Now they say now you are having 8 that chose what? A rapster and a beggar, right? How many that chose the rapster and the beggar? There are 8. So which means now this is a rapster, this is also a beggar, which means now if there are 8, you're going to say now 8 from the 8 subtracts the what? This is going to be 8 subtracts the 3 from the intersection, subtracts this 3, right? So which means now what is it that you are going to have now here? Then we are going to have what? We are going to have 5, because 8 subtract 3 is going to give you 5. So which means those who chose a beggar and a rapster, they are 5, right? Now, and let's continue right along now. What is it that we are also going to find out? Now, from here, do we have those who chose a sandwich and also a burger, right? And now let's see. Now this is going to be a rapster and burger. We've done that. So which means now, do we have any learners from here who only chose what? Who chose a sandwich and also a burger? From here, look, let's start with the other ones. Now, if you can check, if let's say they are saying you are having what? You are having 13 who chose burger, right? They are saying you're having 13 who chose burger, right? So from the burger, which means the total sample space here, right? The total sample space here must add up to what? Must add up to 13. But now let's see. When you say 4 plus what? 4 plus 5 plus 3. What is it that you're going to get here? This is 9, and then from 9, this is 10, 11, 12, right? So which means now you are only having one missing, right? You're having one missing because there are 12 here, which means this one here is this one that chose the sandwich and also the burger, right? This is going to be that particular one. And then now, if you go now to those who chose a rapster, they say they are what? They are 20. So you come here to rapster and say, now look for the rapster. What is it that you're going to do? You are having, this is 5, 3 plus 2, it's 10, which means now when you say the rep, it's what? It is 20. So it's going to be 20. If you say 20, subtract 3, subtract 5, subtract 2. All of these basically basically if you add all of these, they will give you what? They will give you a 10. So this is simply 10. 20 subtracts 10, which is going to give you a 10. So which means those who chose a rapstar, they are going to be 10. Now, those learners who would have chosen a sandwich will be 21. So how can you determine the 21? You are going to say now, if you are having this 1 here plus the 3 here, it's 4. Then this is here, this one here is going to what? It's going to be your plus 2, which is going to give you 6. So when you say 20 now subtract 6, what is it that you're going to get? You are going to basically get, I think this is going to be 16, right? 20 subtract your 6, let's see. then this is it going to be like that? Let's see. Sorry about that. Now, so when you say now you're 20, oh yes, that's why I'm making a mistake here, because it's 21. It's 21 subtract your 6, not this other one, right? This is 21. That's why I'm getting a 16 here that I don't know where it comes from, and this was incorrect. So basically, it's going to be 15 learners. We are going to have 15 learners who are going to choose what? Who are going to choose a sandwich, right? Now, and from here, let's see. Now, if you can add all of these learners, let's erase this. Now, if you can add all of these learners, let's see whether are they going to get us a 50. Look, now if you say 15 plus 1 plus 3 plus 5 for the sandwich plus 4 plus 5 for the burger plus 2 and plus 10 for this, are we going to have a 50? Let's see, what is it that you're going to have. 10 plus 5, it's 15. Then 3 plus 2, it's that, which means this is 20. So then 20 plus this is going to be 35. This is going to be 36. And then this is going to be 40, which means you are having 10 learners. Now, because here the totality of a sandwich, burger, and Rapstar, it's 40, which means the ones that are remaining, they are 10. So which means you are having 10 learners who chose none of those. Okay. So those learners are going to be 10, which means you are going to come and represent them outside here. Okay. Now let's hopefully this makes sense too. Now let's try and continue and see what else can we do. Now from then, let's try and analyze the question. They say, how many learners did not buy a Rapstar, a toast, a toast sandwich, or a burger? Right? They say how many learners? Then this is going to be the 10 learners that we've just calculated. So the question for this one is going to be, now this is going to be 10 learners. Now from here, this other one, they say calculate the probability that learner selected at random from this survey buys a what? Buys a Rapstar and a toast, but not a burger, right? So which means what they basically do, as soon as they say but not, this is an only, they simply say accept this. So you'll come here and say how many learners bought a Rapstar and a toasted sandwich. So this is from here, this is the sandwich, and then this is going to be what? This is a sandwich. This is a sandwich. This is going to be what now? This is going to be also a wrap, right? So which means from here, from sandwich to a wrap, the only number that we are going to get is 2. Remember, it was going to be the sandwich and the wrap. It was going to be what? It was going to be 2 plus 3. However, because they said, but not only burger, which means now you exclude these 3, because these 3 learners, what? These 3 learners also bought a what? A burger, and you don't want a burger in your calculations, right? So which means this is simply going to be 2. They say the probability of what? This is going to be probability of sandwich and what? The sandwich and what? This is going to be sandwich, or your what? Your Rapstar. This is going to be 2 over your 50, right? Then that is going to be your answer, which is 1 over 25, right? Now let's look at now the second question. Now they said head burger only. Luckily, we have burger only there, which was what? 4. So which means the probability of burger only will be what? It will be 4 out of 50, right? Then that is going to be that, which is going to be 2 out of what? Out of 25. Now, if we check now, they say now had at least one meal, right? Now that they are saying at least 1 meal, please don't mind this one. Now, those who had at least 1 meal, which means now look, those who have at least 1 meal is those who had a sandwich only, a burger only, and a wrap only, right? So those are the learners who would have at least 1 meal, right? So which means the probability of 1 meal, the probability of 1 meal will be what? It will be 15 plus 4 plus 10 divided by 50. And when you check that, this is going to be 25. This is going to be 29 out of 50. Those who are having what? Who had at least just only, those who just at least had the only what? Who had the only 1 meal. Now they say those who did not have a toasted sandwich, which means we want everything except for the toasted sandwich. Then we are going to say, now what is going to be your toasted sandwich there? Look, we know that the totality now did not have a toast sandwich. So which means these ones, we're going to say now 50, you have 50 of these learners, right? And the 50 of these learners, those ones who did not have a toasted sandwich, which is going to be the sandwich. Remember, it's what? Or it was what? It was this particular sample space, right? Which was 21. So this is going to be 50 subtract 21. And what is 50? What is going to be your 50 subtract your 21? This is going to be given by 29. So basically the probability of not a sandwich, or your S naught, is going to be 29 out of what? Over 50. Then that is going to be what you are going to get, right? So basically, hopefully this will make sense. I know I've dragged this, but it was just for you to understand, and you completely understand all of this. Thank you very much for your attention.